Carroll County. Eventually, this is going to move over into Gallatin County too. So my friends in Warsaw, you need to take shelter. My friends in Glencoe there, you need to take shelter as well, because this storm is coming your way. You are currently under a tornado warning. I'm coming back to look at the correlation coefficient here, to look at some possibility of debris. And again, we still have some indications of possible debris here. It's not as strong of a signal as what it was as it was approaching Vivi. So hopefully that is a sign that this thing has weakened or cycled a little bit, but it's not as strong of a signal there. So that is good news if we're looking to find any good news. And Eric, it looks like they took down the confirmed tornado warning now. We're left with a Doppler radar indicated tornado
Yeah, as far
warning
as where it's going next.
They're
still trying to see if there's any confirmation in Tribal County there, just to the south. But the rotation tracks is weakening just a bit compared to what it was, say, over in Madison and Milton.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, it's still a very, very dangerous storm.
Yeah, and as we look at this, again, a dangerous storm. It is a tornado warning. At this point, it is the red tornado warning that's up on your screen. So we make that distinction. There are Doppler radar indicated tornadoes, and there are confirmed tornadoes. So right now, the current warning with this is a Doppler radar indicated tornado. So if we're looking for any tiny sliver of good news, it's a sliver that we don't have confirmation now that this is producing a tornado, but it likely has produced a tornado, and it may produce a tornado again if it's not already doing so. And I hope that makes sense. Carroll County, Gallatin County, Switzerland County, Owen County, all under a tornado warning. I'm going to back this out. I want to take radar off once again and give you an idea, kind of a reset of the location that we're looking at relative to Cincinnati. Again, this is down in the southwestern corner of the Local 12 News viewing area this afternoon. Our friends down here in Switzerland County, Carroll County, Gallatin County, and the northern section of Owen County are under a tornado warning until 3 o'clock this afternoon. This storm has produced a confirmed tornado, and so we need to treat it like it may be producing a tornado now, or it may do so again very shortly. In addition to the tornado threat, a threat for extremely large hail with this as well.
There's nothing on the ground as of now.
Okay.
Which is good news there. But right now, the main threat is the large hail. I'm seeing some hail detection, or the hail core, being up and over 2 to 2¼ inches in diameter. So that is huge. Really insane.
Yeah. And this is a supercell thunderstorm that has all kinds of moisture coming into it. It's uninhibited from anything that would stop that from coming into it. So this is a really nasty thunderstorm as it continues to move through Carroll County, into Switzerland County, now into Gallatin County here. And you can see this hail core. I mean, when you begin to see, not just the pinks, but some of these darker colors, that is huge hail, perhaps over 2 inches in diameter, moving along 42. As you get out of Carroll County, this is the Carroll-Gallatin County line right here. Vivi sits across the river right here. So this is some huge hail moving toward Etheridge right now. Large, destructive hail with this storm as it continues to slide to the northeast, around Markland, around Warsaw. And what I want to do again is come back to the velocity mode here. And we still have rotation here. I mean, there is rotation right in the middle of this tornado warning. So I want to give you, again, another track of where this storm is going to be heading. And again, maybe moving just a little south of due east. Drury Chapel, the Kentucky Speedway coming up around 241, Oakland Church around 246, Glencoe around 247 this afternoon, Eagle Hill 250, and Pleasant Home Church also around 250 this afternoon. Again, tornado warning. If you're in any of these locations that we're calling out on the arrival times. Get to your safe place right now. Even though this is a Doppler radar indicated tornado at this juncture, this supercell thunderstorm has had a history of producing a confirmed tornado with damage. So that circulation continues to move perhaps just a little south of due east. Drury Chapel, then Kentucky Speedway, Oakland Church, Glencoe, Eagle Hill, Pleasant Home Church, some of the locations that our computer system is calling out here with this supercell thunderstorm. And Eric has something new.
Just, a good piece of advice there, especially those cities that aren't currently seeing the heavy rain or at least the large damaging hail right now. Good idea, especially if you still have a little bit of time, to take your cars inside in the garage if possible, because this will absolutely destroy your vehicle. It will destroy your windshields. And there's actually the hail core has just gone up now to potentially tennis size hail here.
Tennis ball size hail.
Getting close to right on the
Wow.
southeast of Viva, you can see on this map here, that really bright red color. This is getting close to tennis size to baseball size hail. So that will destroy anything and everything in its path. So this particular, I think this is going to be our main concern, at least with this storm right now. We're still seeing some of that rotation in the atmosphere, as John indicated there, but now just south of the river as it continues to move and kind of hug. Up next would be towards Warsaw, right in between and just north of the Carson area. You can even see, actually, this is getting scarily close to, or at least too close to I-71, something that you really don't want to see on the interstate, especially getting close to rush hour. And look at how this actually does parallel. I'm going to blow this out just a little bit here. So here's I-71, and currently with the trajectory, it's going to meet the highway in maybe about the next 20-ish minutes. So just a good opportunity or a good example to make sure don't want to be on the road crossing the highway here at this point in time. John?
All right, thank you, Eric. They gave me a new microphone. They said my mic was making a weird high-pitched noise, so hopefully that has gone away. We are still seeing a broad circulation here, now moving, it looks like, to the southeast of Viby here as you get right along the Carroll Gallatin County line. That is where we have the circulation and the possible tornado. So between Viby, Carson, and Warsaw, right in this triangle here, is where we have the possible tornado on the ground now. And as Eric mentioned, the other aspect of this storm is the intense hail. And again, even if we do not have a tornado, there is strong wind that continues to come out around Sparta, around Sanders here. We have Doppler radar estimates of winds around 86 miles per hour. Those will be damaging and destructive winds. Again, even if there is not a tornado, these supercell thunderstorms can not only produce tornadic damage if they produce that tornado, but they can produce straight line wind damage too, well out ahead of the actual storm itself. So we're picking that up around Sanders, around Sparta. Those winds would be moving over into the Glencoe area as well. So this is a threat on multiple levels here. We've got the hail threat, we've got the straight line wind threat, and the threat that this supercell thunderstorm may produce yet another tornado within this tornado warning polygon that we have on the screen. There is the supercell thunderstorm. It looks, to my eyes, and Caroline and Eric, chime in if you like, it looks like it's not quite as organized as what it was just about 15, 20 minutes ago. But definitely still an incredibly powerful supercell thunderstorm that is moving across these areas right now. So get to your safe spot if you're in Warsaw, if you're in Glencoe, if you're in Napoleon there, if you're in Sanders, get to your safe spot. Northern sections of Owen County around New Liberty, you too are included in this tornado warning, all the way down to Long Ridge now within this tornado warning. Thankfully, it does look like the circulation is north of your location, but again, you may see some powerful winds that come out of this storm as it continues to move off to the east toward the Glencoe area. Let's put another track on this, and I want to get the polygon in the center of this. I want to look again at the circulation here. And as we take a look at this, I'm going to put a circle again general vicinity of the circulation. And it's getting the general, it looks like there might be a couple of areas of circulation now, but it's getting toward the edge of this polygon. So as we come up into the Glencoe area, again, Oakland Church, Glencoe are the two locations that I really want to focus on here right now for the possibility of a tornado. Get to your safe place, get to the lowest level of your home, get to your basement if you have a basement, and put as many walls between you and the outside of the home as possible, because we still have a circulation in these locations coming through. And not to mention, as Eric was pointing out, some huge hail that's being lofted upwards by this particular storm. And Eric, it looks like you guys have the hail estimates there. 2.9 inches now?
Yeah, I actually saw one close to 3 inches right around this area here, just south of the Ohio River. So those estimates are, again, bigger than baseball-sized hail. So,
and that's moving over into Gallatin County, right? Right along, just north of I-71, between I-71 and the Ohio River.
Yeah,
basically.
It's definitely way too close to the highway. You definitely don't want to see those kind of hail cores really close to I-71 there. And as you mentioned there, John, we are seeing that rotation weaken just a bit, or certainly that we're not seeing quite as strong.
It looks like the structure's not as good, yeah.
It's falling apart a little bit, which
Thank
is good news. Let's see.
Okay, it looks like they just issued another tornado warning. They've extended the tornado warning over now. So they've extended it over into Grant County at this point. And again, this is a red tornado warning polygon, which means this is Doppler radar indicated. Our system does little things here to indicate to us what is going on as meteorologists. So when we see the red polygon, that indicates to us it's a standard tornado warning, a Doppler radar indicated tornado warning, showing us that there is not a confirmed tornado at this juncture, but that we have a supercell thunderstorm that is capable of producing a tornado at any moment if it is not already doing so. So again, they have extended this tornado warning over, so I'm going to go ahead and get the data coming up on that. They've extended it over into Grant County, the rest of Gallatin County, and a little sliver of Owen County here now as well. So that has been extended until 3:15 this afternoon. So basically, they've just popped it on to the east a little bit more to now come over into the Dry Ridge, Kentucky area, Cherry Grove, Kentucky area, Northcutt. You are now under this tornado warning. So if you're in these locations, Downingsville, just going to read out some town names here. Just get to the lowest level of your home, basement, best place, and I'll repeat this over and over. Put as many walls between you and the outside as you can and wait for this storm to pass. And hopefully it does not produce another tornado like it did earlier. Caroline.
To put things into perspective, when we're talking about hail, and Eric still has it pulled up here, this latest warned one, we're looking at tennis ball sized hail. That is enough to certainly damage your car, anything.
That's huge.
That's huge hail. So when we're looking at the core of this, you could see 2.8, well, now down to 2.6. But if that's hard to visualize for you, reports are showing the size of tennis balls. So that's a huge amount. That's certainly going to do some damage to outdoor cars, to potentially any roofing and whatnot out there. So this is certainly, even if we don't see that tornado, we don't need to just be fixated on that part, because the impacts of just this strong storm are enough to cause some damage. So we're going to continue monitoring this. Also, Carroll County, John, we're looking to get some video out of there because that was the latest one. We're seeing there was a confirmed tornado. So again, if you're now safely in an area that you could send us some photos and tell us where you are. We have crews heading down right now, and we'd like to send them to kind of start getting some of those cleanup efforts going and seeing if they could help out a little bit. So just continue to keep us updated safely when the storm has moved past your location.
And I'm just going to add that the storm is still moving right around 40 to 45 miles per hour. So even if this does hold together, we're still looking at this hail coming really close to the I-71 corridor out towards Napoleon in about, say, the next 15, 20 minutes or so. So that is really concerning at this time right now. John?
And what I'm attempting to do right now is give a 3D perspective of this storm. And this is the hail core in purple here. And I'm going to go ahead and give you an idea of, as I can kind of manipulate this map, I don't know if you can see, But that hail core is going to about 30,000 feet above the ground, which is a sign to me that this thing is sending tremendous amounts of wind energy up in the atmosphere and very large hail extremely high in the atmosphere. This particular storm, it looks like it's, as I zoom out here, I'm going to zoom out a little bit more. And the top of the storm now is up, guys, around 50,000 feet. I mean, think about how extremely high and how tall this storm is right now. And the hail core with it, as we look in 3D, goes to 30,000 feet. So as a meteorologist, I look at this data, and that's kind of mind-blowing on how strong this particular storm is at this juncture. It is an extremely powerful storm that's moving across these locations. I'm going to take the map back, hopefully, to a 2D mode right now that we're all used to. But I just wanted to show you that 3D perspective of this supercell thunderstorm. Elsewhere, just kind of doing a reset here for you. If you're watching up here from Clinton County, Highland County, into Brown County, we've got some storms through Claremont County moving through. None of this is severe, okay? We've been keeping an eye on that. None of that is anything to be concerned about, except for the fact that obviously you have some heavy rain and lightning moving through a location. It's this southern storm, and my good friend Tim Hedrick used to call these tail-end Charlies, because they happen on the tail end of these lines, and you've got a ton of moisture and instability that can feed into these storms, so they tend to get stronger and they tend to rotate. And that's exactly what we have going on right now with this storm, a tornado-warned storm that continues to now move across portions of Gallatin County. Okay, it looks like as we look at Switzerland County, you have been cleared from the tornado warning. So we've got the all clear in Switzerland County, Indiana right now. We're giving you the all clear. You're okay. The storm has passed your location. And also in Carroll County, Kentucky, you are now completely clear from the tornado warning. The tornado warning is now over for your location there, it looks like. But we still have the tornado warning up for Gallatin County, for the northern section of Owen County, and for Grant County, Kentucky. You folks continue to be under a tornado warning at this time, and that tornado warning is going to go, it looks like, until 3:15 this afternoon. If there's one good piece of information, it's that this supercell thunderstorm does not look as organized as it was a little bit earlier. So it appears to be losing some of its organization, and not surprising as it moves to the east in a little bit more unfavorable environment. Eric DeBroca.
Things here from our friends at the National Weather Service. We have in Switzerland County, Indiana, that the dispatch is confirming that there are several structures down. This is at Patton Hollow at State Route 56 in that vicinity of Switzerland County. So we're already looking at significant damage in its wake, or already the storms that just moved out there. And another report here, damage report relayed for the Cincinnati Fire Department down in, actually in greater Cincinnati. Lightning struck to a residence, so we have a confirmed house fire there as well. And I think we're going to see a lot more of these, unfortunately, with hail cores that intense. I don't know that I've seen that size hail before, about 2.5 to maybe 3 inches plus in diameter. Nothing can withstand that. So if you still can, and if you're still in the path of all those cities that John is naming, make sure you park your cars inside, or anything really that's outdoors that you don't want to get damaged is indoors, because that's hail's not going to be messing around. That's our main threat with this storm right now.
Even as they weaken and head east, that report of a fire, you could see there's still a lot of lightning associated with this one. So even if we weren't dealing with a strong to severe warned storm or a tornado, when there's lightning, that's obviously dangerous too. You want to get inside, get away. We've seen some reports from schools that have taken precautions, kids in the classrooms. Now is a really good opportunity when those kids do return home from school to discuss, hey, what's your plan? Do you know what your plan is at school and where to go? Also good for the schools and teachers to go over that information at this point.
All right, guys. I want to give you an updated track on this Doppler radar indicated tornado right now. The circulation continues to move to the east. Eagle Hill, Folsom, Clarks Creek Church, Delia, Dry Ridge, Williamstown, and Williamstown Lake Marina are in the path of this storm and this circulation between now and the next 20 minutes. Again, this is a Doppler radar indicated tornado right now. We do not have confirmation of a tornado. Thankfully, the circulation does not look as strong as it was earlier. So perhaps this has weakened at this juncture. We are hopeful that that is the case. But if you are in Eagle Hill, Folsom, near Clarks Creek Church, Delia, Dry Ridge, Williamstown, or Williamstown Lake Marina, just get to your safe spot, just in case. Get to your safe spot, lowest level of your home, basement the best, interior room like a bathroom or closet. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible and wait for this storm to pass, because that is the general circulation, and that is where the circulation is heading. And again, even outside of that, we mentioned the hail threat. We are still getting some winds here being picked up by radar coming into Grant County at around 79 miles per hour. So even if we do not have a tornado, we've got a straight-lined wind damage threat, and we have a threat for extremely large hail continuing to come out of this thunderstorm. It looks like the hail core has gone down a little bit, but between Glencoe and Napoleon, I mean, right along I-71 here, that is where we are talking about some very large hail still being likely with this storm as it moves to the east. So right here along I-71, as you get into Gallatin County, coming very close there to Grant County, we have some extremely large hail between Glencoe and Napoleon there. This is moving over toward the Elliston area, toward the Folsom area. So in these spots, if you could safely do so, get your car inside or under cover, it would be a good idea if you could safely do so. And I say if you could safely do so because there's a lot of lightning too. So that's another danger that we have with this storm as it continues to move off to the east. Resetting here, again, no severe weather anywhere else in the viewing area. It's just this one storm on the southern end of this line that continues to be the big problem for us this afternoon, with a tornado warning that continues for Grant County into northern sections of Owen County, and also into Gallatin County here until 3:15 this afternoon. And we apparently have a lot of video showing up now on social media. And we're efforting our producers now to get that video on the air for us as soon as we possibly can. So they are now working on that. But we had, again earlier, if you're just joining us, a confirmed tornado with this storm earlier as it moved out of Madison, Indiana, and into western sections of Switzerland County, Indiana this afternoon. A confirmed tornado with it. Right now, we have a Doppler radar indicated tornado, which means a tornado continues to be possible with this storm as it slides off to the east. If not a tornado, we have extremely large hail, and we have winds, damaging straight line winds. We come in tighter. Along 467 is where we're seeing some of that hail tracking right now, back here into the Folsom and into the Eagle Hill and Glencoe areas. That is where we're picking up some of this very large hail, around 16, passing through 127, coming in right now to 467. These are the spots that are seeing some of that possible large hail. And what I want to do is put a track on some of this hail core as well. And so this storm continues to move at about 45 miles per hour this afternoon. And as we track some of this hail core off to the east here, I'm going to show you some locations in the path of the hail. Folsom, Pleasant View Church, and Vine Run Baptist Church, some of the locations that our system is spitting out. Again, I've been told over the years that, hey, John, some of those places have been renamed or they don't exist anymore. Well, if you're local down here, you kind of know what we're talking about, even if some of these places have been renamed. But this comes from the database from our weather software that comes from the U.S. government ultimately. So that's where the database comes from, with some of these names. As it moves across Grant County, again, we do have some hail there. All right, I'm told we have some video now that we can pull up, Dave McMullen, and take a look at that, guys. Yeah, that's a tornado. And do we know where this was from, Dave? Do we have a location on this? That's in Carroll County, just west of Carrollton. So that's when we had the confirmed tornado. And so that my friends, that's a tornado right there. And this is coming to us from X, I believe, this afternoon. Video that's coming off X. That.
Also notice how these cars are not too far away yet. It's dry on the roads, which just goes to show you how safe you really need to be. And when we say get inside, you could be that close and not even know it.
Yeah, and that circulation was on the southern end of that supercell. So I'm assuming that this is taken south of where that tornado was located, is what it looks like. That's the assumption that I'm going to make there. So that was earlier. That was the confirmed tornado as we came to air, as it moved out of the Madison, Indiana area and over into Carroll County and into Switzerland County earlier. Wow, that is chilling, but that confirms what we were seeing on radar. Thankfully, at this point, this supercell thunderstorm is just a shell of what it once was, but that said, it is still dangerous, and it is still likely producing some large hail now through portions of Grant County. It is about to get out of Gallatin County. So shortly in Gallatin County, I'm going to give you the all clear. But right now, the most dangerous part of the storm continues to move across Grant County from Elliston, getting into the Dry Ridge area, getting into Sherman Elementary School there, where my son has run a lot of cross-country meets over the years. It is heading toward you. Crittenden, some of this hail core is heading toward you as well. So large hail continues to be a threat with this storm, along with frequent lightning and the possibility of a tornado. And I haven't looked at the velocity in a while. It looks like we still have a broad circulation here. And in addition to that, still have the possibility of damaging straight line winds. So Stewartville coming into Williamstown here, we've got winds being picked up by radar of around 75 miles per hour. So even if we don't have a tornado, this type of straight line wind is going to produce some damage. And I want to put kind of a motion on that. And yeah, you can see those winds are heading into Williamstown right now. So I'll tell you what, in Williamstown, take shelter immediately. Get to the lowest level of your home, get to your basement if you can get there. Wait for these strong wind gusts to pass. You're under a tornado warning, but we definitely have some strong straight line winds heading into the Williamstown area right now. And I want to track these winds as they're passing right along I-75 into Williamstown. Eventually, these winds are going to outrun the tornado warning here. So St. William's Church, Williamstown, Lake Marina, Locust Grove, Goforth, and Goforth School, some of the locations that will be impacted by this strong core of straight line winds as it continues to move off to the east between now and 3:09 this afternoon. That blue, that is bad. That is some strong winds there, strong straight line winds. In addition, there's the possibility of a tornado, but I mean, looking at this, and Caroline and Eric, feel free to chime in, but I mean, it looks like that circulation, it's just kind of broad and not terribly strong, and that is a good sign for us this afternoon. As I come back to this, I'm going to give Gallatin County now the all clear. So here in Gallatin County, the worst of it's past you there around Warsaw. It is now moving to your east. So I'm going to give you guys the all clear right now from this storm. It's still a small storm, but it's still packing a punch here with the possibility of some very large hail moving across Grant County. Eventually, this is going to move over into northern Pendleton County as well. And I'll be curious to see what the Weather Service does with this, if they continue the tornado warning or if perhaps they go to a considerable severe thunderstorm warning, given the hail and given the fact the circulation has decreased. Elsewhere, just resetting here, we've got some storms rolling through portions of Highland County, eastern Clinton County, coming through Brown and southern Claremont County. Nothing that is severe there, but as we said, lightning is definitely going to be a danger for you. We've already seen reports of it starting house fires in the area, striking homes, so there is going to be some lightning in those locations. The storm we continue to focus on, though, continues to roll through Grant County, Kentucky, as we speak, with the possibility of large hail and damaging straight line winds moving through Grant County. Eventually, this is going to be moving over into Pendleton County. And just checking a few things here right now, looking for additional reports. And that was the last report I saw, Caroline and Eric, was the house fire that was reported in Cincinnati.
I haven't reported anything else as far as the chat goes, but starting to see some pictures and some videos of that large hail I've been talking about here the last few minutes, especially down in Vivi. Once you're, of course, in a safe spot and all is good with you, try to send in some of these pictures so you can share with us just exactly what you're seeing down there. Because those are some incredible hail cores. As a matter of fact, here it is, the hail track for about the last hour or so. Once the rotation kind of lost at least a little bit of its punch here, just to the east of Madison and Milton, just out of the viewing area. But as it moved, as the storm continued to push east, this is where that hail really popped with close to 3 inches in diameter, again, exceeding baseball-size hail just to the east of Vivi. Of course, they did see some pretty good hail down there as well. So we'd love to see at least some of those pictures to at least share with us and, of course, other viewers. And as I feared, this storm did cross I-71 there, and as it's doing so now, it is moving up towards the I-75 corridor in parts of Grant County. So we are seeing at least the bulk of it push east. Still, John, holding on about 40 miles per hour right now is the latest.
All right, they're talking to me upstairs. Dave McMullen, go ahead. I think I heard your voice. Okay, we have, this is a live view. This is I-71 at the Owenton exit. And is that hail on the road? That is hail covering the road right there, guys.
Honestly.
Yeah, it looks like snow.
It's covered.
So this is I-71, and who's in the car? Where are they headed now, Dave? Just let me know. All right, Holden Robinson headed towards Switzerland County, Indiana now. So on I-71, around the Carrollton exit, I mean, that looks like a winter scene there. This supercell thunderstorm, a prolific hail producer, and that is hail that you're seeing, the leftover hail in the middle of the roadway, on the sides of the roadway, and you can see traffic there is just crawling along I-71 southbound right now. Wow, that is an incredible picture that we're seeing of just the power of this storm. That hail was being lofted up some 30,000 feet in the air by this storm. And it looks like here that traffic is moving. But again, as you might imagine, after a storm like that, it's going to be crawling there as we come up on the Carrollton exit there. And say that again, Dave. Yeah, okay. And here's another picture of some hail just outside of Vivi, Indiana, covering the ground, looking like a winter scene. Just amazing. I want to come back to radar right now, and looking at this hail core earlier, this thing was towering some 30,000 feet in the air. Now it's under 20,000 feet, but there's still hail, still some large hail with this storm as it's moving through these locations. It looks like they just issued an extension of the warning, but it's a severe thunderstorm warning now, correct, Caroline?
I was going to say, yeah, if you go on over to Bracken, Grant, and Pendleton counties, hail is just shy of 2 inches, 60-mile-per-hour winds. And while this isn't necessarily the best news to now see a severe warned thunderstorm, this is definitely showing signs of weakening, not just with the hail size and with the slowing of the winds, but this has now prompted a severe thunderstorm warning, not a continuation at this point of a tornado-warned storm. So we're continuing to monitor this. Again, western Bracken County, northeastern Grant, and into Pendleton County. It was located just over Dry Ridge, and it's moving east at 40 miles per hour. So if you're in the area about golf ball-sized hail, the gusts are getting up to about 60 miles per hour. So again, still certainly enough to cause some damage and injury if you are out there at this point.
All right, what we're going to do is put a track on this brand new severe thunderstorm warning. Again, hail up to golf ball size possible, and they said winds to 60 was the tag, correct, on this particular warning? Thank you. Flingsville, Hayes, Morgan, and Browning Corner, Butler, Falmouth, Berlin, and Falster are all in the path of this storm between now and 3:05. Again, it is no longer a tornado warning for these areas. They've said, okay, the circulation is weakened enough. We're confident enough to let the tornado warning expire for these areas. and just make it a severe thunderstorm warning for these areas. And again, the main threat is large hail, the potential for hail up to golf ball sized, and wind gust an order of 60 miles per hour. So if you're in the path of this storm, any of these locations or towns that I called out, just get to your safe spot right now, get indoors, stay away from windows. Best to get to the lowest level of your home just in case, but hail is going to be the primary threat with this storm as it moves off to the east. And this thing still has some leftover hail with it. When you see the purple shading here on our radar around Dry Ridge, Sherman, Northcutt, Knoxville, this is an indication that we have some very large hail still in these locations. So again, as Caroline was saying, if you're out ahead of this storm, if you're able to safely do so, just get your car to the garage if you can, or get it under shelter if you got a carport or that kind of thing, because this hail will seriously damage your car as it moves out of Grant County into Pendleton County. I want to put a track on this hail core as the storm has slowed slightly to around 40 miles per hour this afternoon. And again, around the Northcutt area is where we have that hail core as it continues to move to the east. So we want to specifically give some locations that may be impacted by some of this larger hail. Knoxville around 306, 307 around Unity Church, Portland School 309, 314 around Gene Schneider, and Catawba around 319, the locations that may experience some of this large hail as this, I'm going to call it a decaying or supercell thunderstorm that's beginning to die out, moves out of Grant County and into Pendleton County. And again, the warning that they issued does extend over into Bracken County around the Berlin area as well, and over to the edge of Brooksville. You're under a severe thunderstorm warning at this juncture for the possibility of 60-mile-an-hour winds and the possibility of some large hail. And then we come back and take a look at the winds. And guys, one thing that I'm encouraged by, the large area of blue as it was coming south of Dry Ridge has shrunk down to a small area of blue, indicating to me that perhaps the winds on this storm are beginning to come down a little bit, but we kind of come in and query these pixels here and give you an idea. We still have a very small area here of winds that the radar is picking up, at least aloft where the radar beam is, of around 69 miles per hour on the edge of this severe thunderstorm warning. That is heading over into the Morgan area now. So there's still the possibility of some strong winds. Again, the Weather Service tagged this at 60-mile-an-hour winds, so that is certainly a possibility. I would say the primary threat right now is going to continue to be this hail core that is moving up here north of Dry Ridge up to around the Northcutt area and into the Knoxville area along and north of 467 is where we're seeing, some of this hail core, some of this purple shading showing up. And again, it's around Knoxville, Kentucky is where we're seeing some of that hail core showing up as it slides off to the east at about 40 miles per hour. Hail up to golf ball sized will be possible here. Pleasant Ridge Church, again, Gene Schneider, Minzy, some of the locations in the path of this possible large hail up to golf ball size. And we've seen already what a prolific hail maker that this storm has been. Kind of resetting and checking elsewhere, we again still have some storms moving through portions of Highland County and into Brown County. Those are going to move out into Adams County as well. So from Hillsborough to Georgetown, heading toward Winchester, we have some storms. These are non-severe storms. Some heavy rain, lightning is going to be your primary danger from these storms as they continue to move east. And again, to the south, it's this one special thunderstorm. If you take 100 thunderstorms, 1 in 100 or 1% are going to be supercell thunderstorms, the type of storms that spin, that show rotation, that can produce tornadoes. And that's the exact type of thunderstorm that we've been on the air with this afternoon, producing tremendous amounts of hail and producing a confirmed tornado. And you can see that storm continues to move out of Grant County. Officially, we still have for another, it looks like another 6 minutes, a tornado warning here for Grant County. but we've seen that circulation really begin to die off, and looking at it, maybe a very slight broad circulation that continues here moving out of Grant County. So they're going to just probably let that tornado warning just expire here at 3:15 for you folks. And again, downstream, they've replaced it with a severe thunderstorm warning with the possibility of large hail. So that is what we're looking at right now as this storm continues to move now into Pendleton County. So Pendleton County, you're up next with the large hail. It's moving out of the Knoxville area. This is going to move north of Knoxville. So along 467 coming out of Knoxville, extremely large hail up to golf ball size possible. Eventually, this is going to move over towards 17 and 27 to the north of Falmouth. So I'm going to kind of zoom out here and give you an idea of, let me kind of get out of the way here. And you can see here into the Falmouth area, it looks like this hail core is going to pass just to your north. You certainly may get some hail. I'm hoping the biggest stays out of the Falmouth area to your north, but here's 17 and 27. So it's going to cross through these locations here north of Falmouth with hail potentially up to golf ball size. So if you're in these locations north of Falmouth, if you can get your car under cover in a garage, under a carport, a good idea to do so with this large hail that continues to move across portions of Pendleton County this afternoon. Back edge of the storm, again, is starting to clear the Dry Ridge area. We still see these little notches here around Dry Ridge, and when we see that, that's an indication this storm is being fed by very warm, moist, unstable air, and these little notches are where that air is feeding into the storm. So you tend to get those little notch signatures there on these things. But it's holding on. It's getting smaller at this juncture, this storm, as it continues to the east at around 40 miles per hour. You can see the warning polygon that does include most of Pendleton County and the far western section of Bracken County. You're under a severe thunderstorm warning for the possibility of hail that may go upwards of golf ball size with this storm as it continues to move off to the east. And you can see that purple now expanding across Pendleton County here. So from Knoxville to the Falmouth, Falmouth, it's going to be close here. If I were in Falmouth, I might get my car to the garage or under a carport there as well. Let's give you a track of this hail core, and let me make sure the speeds are set up here right now. And this is our hail core that we're concerned with moving generally to the east here. So Gene Schneider, Falmouth, Catawba, New Zion Church, Caddo, all in the path of this hail core as it moves to the east at about 40 miles per hour. Hail up to golf ball size, damaging hail up to golf ball size will continue to be a possibility here through Pendleton County as that storm moves off to the east. And Caroline and Eric, any additional reports? I know you guys have been scouring social media over there for additional information.
We've seen quite a bit. We've been sharing on our pages. Tara actually just texted us that she's gotten reports from friends. She sent photos, hail that was larger than a quarter. She put it next to the quarter to show us. Glencoe seeing about quarter-sized hail as well. Crittenden, probably about a $50 hail there. So that's what we're seeing through photos. I also got a photo on Twitter. Let me get to it really quickly. John, both you and I got this notification from Warsaw, Kentucky. And again, it kind of just looks like there's some snow on the ground. So it's really been hail, hail, hail. A few people have been telling me via Facebook, let me get to this one, branches down in Glencoe, lots of hail, rain, and winds, but all safe from Jane. Thankfully, we're happy to hear that. But people are saying this was a really loud one, and probably due to the fact that that hail was so strong and that lightning was really taking a crack out there at times.
And this just in from our producer, Dave, too. He's saying that I-71 southbound is actually shut down.
Wow.
From
okay.
Napoleon to Sparta, is that correct?
Napoleon. I don't have my ear in to hear him, unfortunately.
I think he was saying that...
that would make sense, yeah.
Yep, okay, he confirmed. Napoleon to Sparta is completely shut down in that direction due to all that hail and the destruction that it caused there. Look at that, it still looks like
wow.
that winter storm.
That's just
you
amazing.
were talking about.
I mean, you look at that, it looks like a winter scene.
Yeah.
Like we just had a winter storm come
Right,
through.
yeah.
Cleanup
Incredible.
efforts on this, John, I'm actually not familiar. What is the protocol for this? Do they actively try and get the hail off, or do we just kind of wait it out? We don't know.
I think you would just have to wait for it
Wait
to
it
melt.
out.
For it to
you
melt
know,
I think
because with
so.
temperatures
I mean,
in the
unless
60s.
there's a really bad place and they could locally, get some plow
Shovel
trucks
it?
out.
I don't
but
know
I
what
mean,
you
with
would do.
traffic like that, you're not going to get out there.
No.
You're not going to be able to get out there anyway. And we have some new storm damage pictures coming in. This is from Brooksburg, Indiana. Looks like tornado damage there. This is coming in off X right now. So we're going to see these reports trickle in. That apparently is a camper or what's left of a camper there in Brooksburg, Indiana this afternoon as that tornado went through there. Wow. And we're going to continue to see, again, and Dave, I don't know if you guys can still, bring it up, the video of the tornado earlier that came in on X2. So feel free to bring that up at any time. We're looking back here at a three-dimensional cross-section of this supercell thunderstorm that is, again, starting to fall apart. Earlier, we had this storm towering up to about 50,000 feet. It's not quite that high anymore. It looks like about 45,000 feet. So the height of the storm has come down a bit. That's a sign perhaps that it is weakening a little bit. The hail core was up to around 30,000 feet. So that was the thunderstorm, the supercell lofting hail up in the air to 30,000 feet, now down just under 20,000 feet. But this is still a serious and significant hail core and a significant hail threat that is moving through Pendleton County and into Bracken County as well. Earlier, we came across this video on X, and again, this was taken in Carroll County, Kentucky, and that looks like a definite tornado to me, folks. This video coming in from Jeffrey on X this afternoon, and it looks like his location was to the south of the supercell thunderstorm, which would be the best location to see that tornado unobstructed, not obstructed by rain as it moved through. So a confirmed tornado, still getting damage reports trickling in out of Switzerland County. We had reports of structures. What was the word we had that was used, guys? Were they destroyed, damaged? We had
Some of the video we've seen, it looks like a
little
little
bit
bit
of
of
both.
both,
a little bit of both?
unfortunately.
Okay. Whew.
Yeah.
A long afternoon here as the supercell thunderstorm continues to move through. The tornado warning has been dropped. That is the good news we have for you this afternoon. Again, the Weather Service feels, the circulation on this storm has fallen apart to the point that it no longer requires a tornado warning. But what it requires is this severe thunderstorm warning polygon. I want to take the radar away just for a second here and show you this. So this is a hashed polygon. You can see these lines moving through it. And again, this is one of those visual cues for us as meteorologists with this software that we have that the Weather Service says, hey, this is no ordinary severe thunderstorm warning. It's not 1-inch hail. It's not just, the run-of-the-mill severe thunderstorm. This is a considerable threat. And the reason it's a considerable threat is because it has a considerable hail threat with it. Winds are coming down on this storm. That is the good news. Winds may gust to 60 miles an hour. That can certainly do damage. But the big problem with this storm now continues to be the hail threat that it poses. And again, in our weather software here, our radar software, we've got it set up such that whenever you see this purple shading, that is when you see a considerable threat for large hail. And that threat now is over Goforth. It's over the Falmouth area. It continues to slide to the east, might be a little south of due east based on the latest radar scans here. But in these spots, destructive hail up to golf ball size will continue to be a possibility as this storm moves east. So here in the Falmouth area, over into Brooksville, you're on the edge of this, Berlin, Johnsville, Petra, you are on the edge of that warning. This is a considerable hail threat that we have now with this severe thunderstorm warning. This severe thunderstorm warning for Bracken and Pendleton County goes until 3:45. And again, a considerable threat. They still have the tag that a tornado is possible because there is a broad circulation with this supercell thunderstorm. Winds up to 60 miles an hour, hail size 1 3/4 inches, and the software showing just over 5,000 people that are impacted from this destructive thunderstorm as it continues to move off to the east at about 40 miles per hour. So if you are over here into Bracken County, my advice to you, if you can do so safely now, if you can get your car in a garage or get in under a carport, that would be the best thing you could do to prevent damage to your car for this possibility of some extremely large hail moving across the Falmouth area. If you're in Falmouth right now, hit us up on Twitter, on social media. Let us know what you're seeing right there at this point, because radar is showing the possibility of some large hail moving through the heart of Pendleton County right now. So we would love to get your reports right along 27 here is where radar continues to show this extremely large hail being a possibility. So Falmouth, Four Oaks, Hayes area, 330, 27, 22, 159, all coming together there into the Falmouth area. That is where we have the possibility of a considerable hail threat this afternoon as it slides off. Looks like a little south of due east is kind of how this hail core is going, and it's going to get over into Bracken County shortly. Okay, so how shortly? Let's take a look at what we can anticipate. And again, a little south of due east appears to be how this is tracking. So Bachelor's Rest, you're on the path of this hail. Oakland Church, Neve, Forest Hills Church, Berlin, and Petra there in the path of this possible large hail as it slides to the south and east. Eric DeBroca, what do you got?
Okay, some good news here on the roadways over I-71 southbound, now seeing traffic move. So the highway is not shut down anymore. Hopefully those warm temperatures actually keeping up with the hail cores right now and melting it on the roadways, unlike during a winter storm. We have warm temperatures working in our favor, at least on the roadways. We saw really impressive hail cores. I think once that tornado was probably our main feature, just right near the southwest corner of our viewing area there in Carrollton County. But now, after that, of course, it was just this dynamic hail. Again, prolific. Look at this bright contours here. That's up and over 3 inches just to the southwest of Vivi and also southeast of Vivi. They're southwest of Warsaw. That's where we saw some of those largest hail cores. They're up and over 3 inches, which is close to baseball-sized hail. And now we are seeing those social media reports come in with just a whole lot of information here as far as, and unfortunately damage too, up in this entire area here. Notice it did cross both highways, I-71 and I-75 as well, just to the east of Dry Ridge. But again, that general weakening trend within the last 30 to 40 minutes, now finally seeing things calm down a little bit. But John, I think damage done, a little bit too late here.
Yeah, and let's go back to that live picture again, if we could, guys, of our live drive. I mean, you look at the side of the interstate here. I mean, look at that. That's inches of hail just piled up there. Again, this is I-71 south. And I don't know what county they're in right now. They continue to move to the south, going down toward the Carrollton area. But I mean, as this supercell came through, we saw that hail lofted up to around 30,000 feet in the atmosphere as we did our 3-dimensional cross section of it. And I mean, I don't think, at least in my 18 years here in Cincinnati, my nearly 30 years of doing this, that I've seen this in my viewing area. I've seen it out of storms in other parts of the country, but I don't recall seeing something quite like that, especially on one of our major interstates where there's that much hail piled up where it looks like a winter storm had come through. And you can see there, I mean, that the storm's gone. We've got the sun coming out there on I-71 South this afternoon. Traffic continues just to be a mess there, as you might expect, with this tornadic thunderstorm that has passed through there earlier. But just tremendous amounts of hail left on the roadway, left on the interstate there.
So we have a couple of pictures coming in. What our producer said here. This is out in the Glencoe area, courtesy of Lisa Collins-Arthur there. You can see the hail falling at a pretty good clip too. And by the way, this hail not only was our main story, but also we had some intense rainfall rates, which of course did not help traffic in those areas as well, to the tune of over an inch per hour fall through here. And what, did you say we have another one coming up there? Oh wow, look at that one. This is also from Lisa Collins there, and this is, you can see, yeah, you can see some of that shelf cloud there, almost looking like, can you see the tornado in that picture, John?
Kind of hard to see what exactly it is there.
It really is.
Yeah.
I was trying to see. You can definitely see at least the beginning of at least some kind of funnel cloud working in that direction. They said it's from Carrollton County as well, just before the rain started, and of course some of that hail as well. Incredible photos. We continue to see just a lot of our pictures pour in on social media here. And as the storm continues moving off to the east, we are seeing that weakening trend take place, which is some at least positive news there after some of that damage that we're seeing from that confirmed tornado, which was on the ground for, don't want to give at least too much of an estimate, but I don't know, somewhere along the lines of 20 to 30 minutes, maybe on the ground doing some damage. We do have confirmed damage of several structures in that area, Carrollton County, the southwest corner there, even going a little bit further west out towards Madison and Milton as well. John?
Yeah, and I want to alert the folks upstairs that I just retweeted some video coming out of northwest Carrollton, Kentucky, of tornado damage. And if we can get that up in tag board, the retweet that I just sent out, there's some pretty scary video here. And hopefully we can get this up of campers overturned, of damage to homes. Clearly, a tornado went through that area there. Again, northwest Carrollton, Kentucky, tornado damage there coming across social media. And of course, we have crews heading down in that direction right now. But it is a slow go there. But boy, oh boy, taking a look at this video, I'm also getting other reports of hailstones that came in, some fairly large hail up to golf ball size. Some of these pictures that are coming in right now that we're looking at coming across social media this afternoon. So this was a tornadic thunderstorm. Now, not a tornadic thunderstorm, but a thunderstorm that continues to produce some large hail, perhaps there into Pendleton County and going into Bracken County. It looks like the hail threat is favoring the southern edge of this warning polygon coming out of Falmouth. And again, if you're there in Pendleton County, around Falmouth, or anywhere close to that, and when it's safe to do so, let me know the size of the hail that has been coming out of that particular thunderstorm as it moves across your area. We don't have any specific reports of the hail size that's coming out of this right now, but they still have this considerable severe thunderstorm warning in effect around Bathurst Rest. This is kind of following 22, going out of Bathurst Rest toward Willow, Berlin. Eventually, this is going to slide over into the Brooksville area. So the threat for hail, perhaps over 1.5 inches in diameter, continues out of this storm. The wind threat has fallen off quite a bit, so we don't have the wind threat that we once had out of this storm. It appears to be primarily a hail threat at this juncture with this thunderstorm as it continues to slide just south of due east. It looks like we are picking up some wind here on the very southern periphery of this storm. So if there's a wind threat, it's going to be right here across the southern part of this warning polygon near the Browning Corner area. We're getting some winds estimated by radar just to the east of McKinney'sburg of around 69 miles per hour. And some of these winds may even come out of this warning polygon as the storm is kind of going a little south or kind of hugging the southern end of this warning polygon this afternoon as it's moving across Pendleton County into Bracken County. The hail threat, though, is more to the north. So we got a wind threat on the south side of this thing, perhaps winds up to 60. The 69 is measured by radar aloft, so it's where the radar beam is, but down closer to the ground, winds up to 60. And you could see, again, the hail core continuing there toward Willow this afternoon. We have some brand new damage video that is starting to come in. And again, this is out of Brooksburg, Indiana this afternoon. And I'm looking at this just as you are here. And Dave, it looks like, was that a camper or some kind of outbuilding perhaps, or hard to tell there at this point? Yeah. Yeah. But you can see the damage there. This is in Brooksburg, Indiana this afternoon. Some of the video that we are getting in right now, this is coming to us via X. That's definitely a camper right there that's been overturned. It looks like with this video. And we have definite tornado damage that has occurred this afternoon. Wow. Still, we don't have any reports of injuries or fatalities that I have seen coming in yet. I hope that continues to be the case. Yeah, it looks like some outbuildings perhaps there that were damaged, perhaps a carport, kind of hard to tell in this little monitor that I'm looking at here.
Is that like a little pond over there?
Yeah, it looks like there's a pond or a lake of some sort there. Not familiar with the area there. Also on tag board, if you guys could get up the video from Carrollton at some point, if you guys can pull that in at some point. Yeah, appreciate that, Dave. Yeah. All right, around Bachelor's Rest is where we continue to see this hail core moving through, coming out of Pendleton County into Bracken County. So between Berlin, Bachelor's Rest, Petra there, we have the possibility of some large hail continuing with this storm. So it's still posing a hail threat, and it's still posing a wind threat, and the National Weather Service has this severe thunderstorm warning still in effect until 3:45 for Bracken and Pendleton counties. Winds up to 60 miles an hour, hail of 1 3/4 inches in diameter, and they still have the tornado possible tag on it there, because there is, in fact, a broad circulation here coming across basically southern Pendleton County meets Bracken County there, getting into the Milford, Kentucky area where you're technically outside of this warning polygon, but may continue to see some strong winds. And again, there's a general broad circulation kind of on the edge of this warning polygon that we're picking up down here between Antioch and Milford. So we're keeping an eye on that. Keeping a close eye on that. Certainly the storm is hanging on here because there's nothing south of it. So there's all kinds of warm air, unstable air still feeding into this supercell thunderstorm. And it's still exhibiting rotation, broad rotation as it's moving through. But it's nothing like it was earlier when we had the confirmed tornado. And there's the last few radar loops of this storm, again, working its way out of Pendleton County, now across Bracken County with winds up to 60 miles an hour and large hail up to 1 3/4 inch diameter. We have a severe thunderstorm watch that is going to expire for the area coming up here shortly that was issued a little earlier today. We're going to be watching later tonight for the possibility of some more storms working into the area. So we're not completely done with our threat for storms just yet. So later tonight is going to pose another chance for more storms. But this is the one storm that continues to have us concerned because it continues to show signs of rotation. It continues to produce large hail, and they just issued another tornado warning, guys. So here it is. They've extended a tornado warning because that circulation is tightening up again. And oftentimes, these things will cycle. So there's our circulation, and we are going to track this. First of all, I want to get up on here. And there it is, a new tornado warning that covers Bracken County, Mason County, and Robertson counties. This tornado warning goes now until 4:15 this afternoon. 1 3/4 inch size hail will be a possibility with this particular storm as it slides to the south and east. In addition, this is a Doppler radar indicated tornado, so it's not the purple box. So that is some good news. I'm going to take away everything except for the tornado warning itself as we come back here. And there's the polygon. So if you're inside this polygon, Mount Olivet up to Brooksville, over to Mayslick, Maysville, you're on the edge of this, back to McKinney'sburg. If you're within this polygon, You need to get to your safe place right now. Get to your basement if you have a basement. If you don't have a basement, get to the lowest level of your home. Try to put as many walls between you and the outside of the home as possible to offer protection. This is a Doppler radar indicated tornado. So this is not a confirmed tornado. If this box were to turn purple on us, our concern would go even higher. But at this point, Doppler radar indicated tornado. There's the possibility of a tornado. Again, we're pointing out this general circulation, which I'm going to circle here right now. And again, coming out of southeastern Pendleton County, across portions of Bracken County, getting ready to move into Robertson County, eventually into Mason County. And Caroline and Eric, did they have a forward speed on this? Have they adjusted that at all?
On this one, we're seeing, well, it goes until 4:15, moving east at 35 miles per hour, golf ball sized hail.
Yeah.
Let me see what else I could pull up from.
35 miles an hour. Okay. So let's put some locations on here. And again, a possible tornado in these locations. Bratton, Hitville, Mount Olivet, Abigail, Sardis, Mays Lick, and Country Club Heights between now and 4:13 this afternoon. That is where the circulation is located on this storm. So, you know, with these supercell thunderstorms, oftentimes they can sort of regenerate. And we say this often, sometimes they breathe in, they breathe out, and then you can spin up another tornado. So that circulation has gotten a little stronger. Strong enough that the Weather Service deems that this could potentially produce another tornado. So thus the brand new tornado warning that has been issued for southeastern sections of Pendleton County, the southern 2/3 of Bracken County. This does not include Augusta. I want to make that clear. Augusta, this is south of you. This does include most of Robertson County. I would say the northern 4/5 of Robertson County there, and the far western section of Mason County, from Maysville down to Mays Lick. You are officially under this tornado warning. We come in a little tighter here, and it looks like, again, we got a broad circulation near Milford, Kentucky right now, moving toward Bratton. This is going to move over toward Mount Olivet as well, so we can kind of circle this broad circulation that we're seeing here in these areas. And again, this is going to kind of carry off to the east toward Bratton, toward Mount Olivet, toward Abigail there. If you're in Milford, if you're in Petra, I'm sorry, I don't know exactly how to pronounce your town name, Mount Olivet, Abigail, again, up to Germantown, you're technically in this as well. These are the locations that you need to get to your safe spot immediately due to this circulation that's coming through right now as we speak. A possible tornado here on what's left of this supercell thunderstorm. And hail threat, still there. Where you see the purple shadings there near Willa, Powersville. This is sliding toward Brooksville, eventually toward Germantown and Bridgeville there. Some of the locations that may experience some large hail with this storm as it slides off to the east this afternoon at about 35 miles an hour. We have some new video of some hail. Take a look at that. And where is this? Bracken County. Okay, that's coming out of Bracken County. Some small hail there. So even outside of the hail core, you get, you know, some smaller hail like this that can come down with these storms. And thank you for sending that. Just a reminder, if you have video, if you have pictures, we would love for you to share those with us. Don't do it directly on our social media channels, though. If you could do me a favor, go to local12.com and click on the Chime In tab. And if you do it that way and you upload it that way, that video can be passed along to our entire crew. New video coming in right now. This is from Milton, Kentucky. Okay, so Milton was one of the towns that Eric and I were calling out when we came on air. And this is courtesy of WLKY in Milton, Kentucky. Confirmed tornado. You can see roofs ripped off of that building there. Trees that were downed here in Milton. One of the locations earlier, there's a camper that's flipped over right there, it looks like. Definitely some tornado damage that we're just seeing this with you right now. We're just getting this tornado damage in from Milton, Kentucky, from earlier this afternoon. That damage coming in. And we have, okay, this is coming from Indiana State Police. This is in Jefferson County, Indiana. Some of the damage that is coming in at this point. So we continue to see these damage videos and pictures trickling in this afternoon. Looks like the roof ripped off of that building. And I mean, the roof is completely gone from that particular building there. You can see it looks like a home. Wow, yeah, we definite tornado damage. Here's a neighborhood in the same area there. Looks like some pieces of the buildings there.
And John, something to note. We're pulling these up and we're looking at the damage. The National Weather Service now is going to send teams out in the coming days to survey the area, and that's when we'll actually get reports of, hey, just how strong, exactly how long of the path of the tornado. So again, we're looking at this, we see the video, but as of right now, we don't have information on, hey, what was the strength? How long was this on the ground? That's something that survey teams are going to be doing, and based on this afternoon and evening, they're going to be pretty active the next few days. So again, continue to send our way, and as we gather more information and work with the National Weather Service, we'll be able to put a lot more of the pieces together as we move forward post-storm.
Yeah, and it does take some time, so they're probably going to maybe not send someone out there maybe today, but
Right.
probably tomorrow, if not this afternoon. So just based on what we're seeing, though, it's really kind of widespread here, at least in several areas. So it definitely looks something that's not necessarily a weak tornado that would produce some of this damage. So we're looking
Right.
at some pretty impressive either scale of damage or some, maybe getting into the EF1, 2 category range.
Right. When we're talking about, roofing being
Right.
off a home, that somewhat is a good indicator that it was a little stronger than your, EF0, EF1. Also want to point out, I've been communicating with our reporter, Paige Barnes. She is heading to Carrollton right now to gather some more information on the ground. So coming up in the evening and late night newscast, we'll have footage from our teams. Again, they're heading there right now to kind of get a look at just exactly how widespread this damage has been up to this point.
And I'm looking, again, I'm like you guys, checking social media channels right now, and taking a look at some of the damage that is coming in. And, some, at least in our viewing area around Carrollton, Kentucky, that appears to be some of the worst damage that I've seen so far. Northwest, I guess, of Carrollton, Kentucky is where it was from the reports that we have. All right, we still have this tornado warning. This is Doppler radar indicated. The circulation got strong enough again that the fine folks of the Weather Service decided that, yeah, we need a tornado warning on this storm again. So this officially goes until 4:15. Bracken, Mason, Robertson counties are the locations where we continue to see the possibility of another tornado being dropped from this storm. We come in a little tighter here, and we still have a broad rotation. Robertson County right now is where we're seeing some of these stronger winds moving through. So we're creating these pixels here, getting winds measured by radar aloft at about 65 miles per hour. But where these green colors come together with the red, that's where we have kind of a counterclockwise circulation between Milford and Bratton right now. So that is the general circulation that we're looking at this juncture with this storm. And I'm going to see if I can perhaps look at this from a different perspective here. Add the Jackson, Kentucky radar in here too, and see if we get a little better perspective of that, maybe a different view. As I come in, I'm going to uncheck a few boxes here in our software. And yeah, Jackson, Kentucky radar is shooting this too from the south. And you can see a general circulation here. They're a little farther away from it, but I just wanted that extra perspective of this. And the Jackson, Kentucky radar beam is higher in the atmosphere of Robertson County, so it's detecting winds of around 83 miles an hour, but at a higher level of the atmosphere. So I just wanted to double check that to take a look at a different perspective on this storm as we examine it. Now I'm going to go back to the closer radar site right now, but we are picking up some stronger winds there between Mount Olivet and between Abigail, moving off to the east. That's going to eventually move over here into Mason County, especially the southern half of Mason County is where I'd be concerned about the strongest winds. And, you know, look at that. Look at these blue and red areas as they come together here right in northern sections of Robertson County, Kentucky. That is where we have the circulation that has tightened back up. It's gotten a little stronger again. So because of that, they got ahead and issued this new tornado warning that does cover Bracken, a good chunk of Mason County, and most of Robertson County. So these are the areas that if you're in these locations, you need to get to your safe spot right now. Just get to the lowest level of your home, basement, interior room, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible, and wait this thing out. Let's hope it does not produce another tornado. It's certainly capable of doing so, but let's hope it does not. All right, back into Pendleton County. Pendleton County, I'm going to give you the all clear right now. Officially still, this warning is up, and I'm going to give you the all clear there in Pendleton County. And there, they just took it down as I said that. Great minds think alike here. All right, so we're looking at this storm still in Bracken County, Mason County, and Robertson County that has the potential of producing a spin-up tornado. There is still some large hail with this. We're still seeing, as you look at this, some of that purple color from Brooksville south to around Bridgeville, but you'll notice that purple color is not as intense. It's not as widespread as what it was earlier. So perhaps a sign here that this storm continues to weaken a little bit, but still certainly a threat, a hail threat with this, and certainly a threat for a tornado to spin up, especially across the southern portion of this warning at any moment here. So that is why this tornado warning is continuing right now. Coming back, I want to look at keeping an eye on that circulation. I mean, it's Eric and Caroline, it's not going away. I mean, it's still holding on there.
I saw it weaken earlier this afternoon, and I was maybe trying to be optimistic here,
Yeah.
but because it was showing signs of weakening, but then not so much. We still had the broad rotation throughout the entire event. It's just it wasn't as tight or as put together as what we saw at least initially when it was out there in Madison and out there in Milton as well towards the corner of Carrollton County.
It's also not uncommon in some of these strong storms. Sometimes they weaken a little bit, then they kind of gain their momentum back. It's almost like running a race. You might need to chill out on your mile time, bring it down and whatnot, and then you pick up some energy and momentum. So yeah, they did say it was showing some signs of that core tightening yet again and creating that hook that you've often seen John showing you. So that's why they reissued it, because it did show those signs of strength.
When I was doing the noon show a few hours ago, I wasn't too concerned about what I was seeing there as far as with the linear structure of those storms moving through the greater Cincinnati area points northward that we saw.
Yeah.
But then we had that one supercell that was lagging behind, and that's when you always notice that there's trouble there, especially with strong wind shear, which just means winds change direction with height in the atmosphere. We have winds from the south right now at the surface, but you go maybe not even halfway up in the atmosphere, and the winds are from the west. So you start to get that turning of the atmosphere really quick. So several of those ingredients came together this afternoon to produce that tornado across our viewing area.
And guys, I think we have some new video from Shelby Schinkel. This is coming from Gallatin County. And I mean, if you didn't know it, it would look like a winter scene there with hail that is just covering the roadways down there in Gallatin. Look at that. I mean, that is hail that is piled up. And I don't know, what road this is in particular in Gallatin County, but you get the general idea there. And it looks like it's under the interstate. It looks like the interstate's up above there. But I mean, you get the general idea of just the tremendous amount of hail that has fallen out of this supercell thunderstorm today. And there's a picture of some of those hailstones that Shelby had sent us. Fairly large hail there that came out of these storms. And this storm is still producing some hail right now.
It's packing a punch. 2 minutes ago, our reporter Paige Barnes tweeted out a video. They're in Glencoe, Kentucky, so if our producers at some point can pull it up, she just put it out there. They're headed to Carrollton, and there is lots of hail on the ground. You see, again, it looks like a winter scene. She said the car is reading 72 degrees right now, but she posted a pretty good video out there of just it's continuing. And I'm assuming they're going the speed limit. They're not on a residential road. They're cruising along, and it just does not stop on the side of the roads there. So some other good video.
The hail was so significant. I was talking about this kind of a lot this afternoon, not just in how big that it was or how big that the hailstones were, up and over, golf ball to baseball size hail even at its peak. But it was at least widespread enough to actually shut down I-71 going southbound for at least several minutes here. And traffic was at a complete and utter standstill while the road was being, covered or at least pelted by these hailstones. So this is a significant storm. When you couple the hail, the tornado, and of course some of these other features like the very heavy rain that we're still seeing in parts of our southern viewers.
Here's the video from Paige that we were just talking about. Thanks so much, Dave. Yeah, you could just see this is pretty much covering the roads at this point everywhere that we've been sending crews down in Kentucky. So definitely if you were out driving in this, that is enough to cause a lot of damage to your car. Hopefully your car was the only thing damaged, but as John had mentioned earlier, we want to continue to see your photos and videos if you can safely do so. Again, this video from our reporter here at Local 12, Paige Barnes, who is going to get down to Carrollton. She was in Glencoe at the time, Glencoe, Kentucky at the time of filming this, heading to Carrollton to see and kind of get a glimpse at more of the damage where we're seeing some of the worst and most widespread damage videos that we've shown you throughout the evening.
Guys, when we look at hail like we've seen today, it's rare to see this kind of hail. It takes a supercell thunderstorm to produce hail like this. You get the pea-sized hail, mothball-sized hail, quarter-inch, half-inch, penny-sized, three-quarters of an inch, nickel-sized, about 7/8 of an inch. We don't consider it severe hail till it gets up to 1 inch in diameter, and that is quarter-sized. But today we had between golf ball and tennis ball-sized hail in some parts of the area as warned by the Weather Service. So this is extremely rare hail that we don't typically see around this part of the country. And that storm is still producing the possibility of hail right now. So I want to take you in on radar and again show you the locations that are being impacted by this storm, now moving through portions of Bracken, Mason, and Robertson County, where we still have a tornado warning that goes until 4:15 this afternoon. Hail up to 1 3/4 inch in diameter. So again, that's the golf ball-sized hail that is going to be a possibility. Now you'll notice the good thing here is that the purple shadings that we have seen are again going away. So we're not seeing as much purple as what we did see. Still though, some of that is moving over toward Murphysville, where you could get some large hail here very shortly as that moves in your direction. But it's not the big expansive area of purple that we had on radar earlier, which is perhaps a sign that the hail threat is at least beginning to come down somewhat. Unfortunately, we still see the circulation with this storm, and there's still a circulation. It's a broad circulation, but I'll circle it. Notice where the red comes together with the green here, moving very close to the Abigail area. This is north of Mount Olivet. This is going to move over toward the Murphysville area. This is where we have a possible tornado continuing. So that is why the tornado warning is still in effect for Robertson, portions of Bracken County, and Mason County, Kentucky, because of that circulation that is persistent with this storm. And because that circulation is persistent, there's a possibility that this could produce another tornado at any time if it's not producing a tornado right now. So we continue to track that circulation, and we need to keep an eye on it. The forward speed has slowed down a little bit, so it's moving at around 35 miles per hour now. just south of due east is what it looks like. So if you're in Abigail, if you're in Sardis, if you're in Shannon, Murphysville, Mays Lick, Helena, down toward the Fleming Mason area, you want to get to the safe spot in your house now. That's going to be a basement, obviously. If you have a basement, if you don't have a basement, get to the middle of your home, an interior room that doesn't have windows, like a closet or like a bathroom, because you want to put as many walls between you and the outside of the home as possible in case this thing decides to drop another tornado. It's obviously had a history of producing damage, a history of producing tornadoes as it's moved your way. So we want to be extra safe here because this thing could certainly produce another tornado as it slides off, again, just a little south of due east. So if you're in these locations that we're listing on the map, get to your safe place right now because this storm, again, is showing rotation still. So this is a Doppler radar indicated tornado warning. That's why it is red on the map today. And in addition to that, we continue to see, some of the blue shadings here moving toward Murphysville, toward the Mays Lick area. So that's a sign, again, of those winds close to severe levels that are moving through. So even if there isn't a tornado, you may get some very strong wind gusts that come out of the storm as well that could produce some damage. And we've seen that as well. A lot of the damage we've seen that we've been showing you a video of, maybe tornado damage. Some of them may be straight line wind damage, where the location that video came from was just outside the path of the tornado, but there was still some tremendous damage from the winds coming down out of that storm, hitting the ground and spreading out. So with these supercell thunderstorms, they tend to have, 4 distinct threats. You have the threat for a tornado, obviously. You have the threat for large hail, like we've seen today. You have the threat for straight line winds. And then obviously the lightning threat is something we see with every thunderstorm. So that is what we're looking at with this storm as it continues to slide across Bracken, Mason, and Robertson counties, where we still have a tornado warning that is in effect at this juncture. And the circulation is still there. It hasn't gone away. So we're still continuing to see that circulation with this storm. And I mean, you look at this thing, and earlier it was a textbook hook echo supercell thunderstorm. It just looks more like a baby supercell thunderstorm right now. It's much smaller, it's much more compact, but we're seeing that purple starting to come back up again. So, this thing is still producing some hail. It looks like right around the Murphysville area, right around 62 there, north of Mays Lick, south of Old Washington. That's where we're getting these purple shadings starting to come back up again. And as Caroline mentioned, these storms, they ramp down a little bit, they reorganize, and they tend to ramp back up again. And so that's what we've seen with this particular supercell thunderstorm as it's moving across the southeast portion of our viewing area this afternoon. It appears to be kind of ramping back up again, at least the hail threat ramping back up. It looks like this hail core, as you look at this, is passing right over Murphysville right now, but it looks like it's going to pass to the south of the Maysville area. We got a lot of people up here in the Maysville area, obviously, so it looks like that is going to pass south of the Maysville area. They just took Robertson County out of the tornado warning. So Robertson County, you're out of it. Bracken County, you're now out of the tornado warning. So in Bracken County and in Robertson County, we are going to give you the all clear right now in those two counties. Bracken and Robertson County, you have the all clear. This supercell now is mostly contained in Mason County, Kentucky. Again, Mason County, Kentucky, where you continue to be under a tornado warning. And that is the latest scan of this thing. I want to bring up the warning information. This tornado warning goes until 4:15 this afternoon. Hail up to 1.5 inches in diameter. So they brought the hail down by about 1/4 inch, although the latest radar scan suggests that maybe that hail may reach a little bigger than that. But this particular tornado warning is impacting around 11,000 folks, a lot of those folks in the Maysville and in the Mays Lick areas right now. Looking at the circulation, we continue to see a circulation there. It's approaching the Mays Lick area as we speak here. The circulation's kind of going right along 324 here, coming along 62, where 62 and 324 meet. This is where we have kind of a circulation, a broad circulation that is still within this area. So a tornado remains a possibility with this storm as it slides to the east. Again, the forward speed has gone down at about 35 miles per hour. If you're just joining us here on Local 12, we're coming up on 4 o'clock this afternoon. We have been tracking a supercell thunderstorm that has produced a confirmed tornado or confirmed tornadoes across the southwestern portion of our viewing area earlier. Cincinnati area is all clear, and we're going to be all clear through the course of the early part of the evening. It's not again until later tonight that we see the possibility of severe weather returning. Latest data suggests that that threat may be more to the north of us, but we're going to continue to look at that through the course of the afternoon. We are dealing with one lone storm moving through Mason County, Kentucky right now that still has rotation, that still is producing large hail, and still has a tornado warning with it. A new video out of Warsaw, Kentucky, of some of that large hail. And look at that hail. That looks like it's up there around golf ball size, folks. So that's that 1 3/4 inch destructive hail that we saw hit the area earlier with this supercell thunderstorm. That kind of hail will do damage to your car. It'll do damage to siding. It'll do damage to crops. I mean, that is some serious large hail right there. Again, this is coming out of Warsaw, Kentucky from earlier this afternoon. Large hail that has hit many parts of the area with this supercell thunderstorm that continues to move through Mason County. Wow, extraordinary footage there. We saw pictures of hail piled up along I-71. It looked like the aftermath of a winter storm, some of those pictures that we've seen. We remind you, if you have pictures, if you have video, please do me a favor. Don't post it on our social accounts. Don't post it on our Facebook. If you could, go to local12.com, click on the Chime In tab, and upload it there. That way, all of our producers here at Local 12 can find and see that video and give you credit for that video when we share it. This, again, is footage coming out of Brooksburg, Indiana, earlier when this supercell thunderstorm moved through Brooksburg, Indiana, and that is footage of campers overturned, of buildings that have been damaged or in some cases destroyed. Unclear about if those were outbuildings, if those were significant buildings or not. We are still getting information. So far, we do not have any reports of injuries or fatalities. If that changes, we will certainly let you know. But this video, again, that you saw there was out of Brooksburg, Indiana, from earlier this afternoon. And that's where the circulation was running. It kind of, in Brooksburg, if you're not familiar, is just off to the east of Madison, Indiana, kind of between Madison and Carrollton, Kentucky there, right along the Ohio River. And that is where we saw an extremely tight circulation. And we saw on radar actual debris, that debris being lofted into the air. So that is the situation we're looking at. We have tornado video again we want to show you. So take a look at this. We've been showing this afternoon. This coming in earlier on X. This was taken from Carroll County, Kentucky. And it looks like the point of view of this person, of Jeffrey, was to the south of the supercell thunderstorm based on what I'm seeing here. And that is the tornado as it moved through these locations. So again, this thing kind of straddled, it kind of moved from Madison, Indiana to north of Carrollton. So that was when this was occurring earlier, when we were on the air with you here at Local 12. This is what was actually occurring with that tornado warning from earlier this afternoon. Boy, oh boy. All right. Looks like the Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning now. So they've carried a severe thunderstorm warning over for the rest of Mason County, Kentucky, and also for Lewis County, Kentucky, which lies just outside of our official viewing area. That severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until 4:45 this afternoon. 60-mile-an-hour winds, hail up to 1.5 inches in diameter. So that is the new warning. So as I take away radar, I take away lightning, you can see the tornado warning is still up generally for the western half of Mason County, and it's this eastern half of Mason County that they've decided, again, that rotation is going to be weak enough by the time it gets to you that they are going to just issue a severe thunderstorm warning, but I'm sure they have the tag of tornado possible with that. So a severe thunderstorm warning for Mason and Lewis counties that will continue until 3:45. The other locations here, that is officially still a tornado warning that is up for the Maysville area. We still have some hail with this supercell here denoted in this purple shading south of Old Washington, between Old Washington and Mayslick along 68 there. Still some large hail that is going to approach Somo and Orangeburg. Those are the locations that may eventually see some of this hail moving in. I want to check the winds again with this storm. Looking at storm relative velocity here, this is like looking inside the storm to see what the winds are doing. And we still have some blue showing up here in the southern portion of Mason County, around Helena, near the Mayslick area. This is crossing 11 here. So we query some of these pixels here, and these are 62-mile-an-hour winds, severe winds that are pushing across this section of Mason County, Kentucky right now. We are not seeing at this juncture, the circulation that we had a little bit earlier, which is good news. That circulation, it's kind of broad here, but it's not as tight as what it was earlier. It's not as strong. So because of that, it's a severe thunderstorm warning that they've done to the east of this storm's current location. But boy, there's still some hail here. And I kind of want to put a track on this hail as it moves off to the east at about 35 miles per hour here at last check. And as we take a look at some of the spots that are going to get in on hail there in Mason County, you can see Fleming, Mason, Somo, Antioch Church, Orangeburg, Plainview Church, Plumeville, Rectorville, and Rectorville Elementary School in the path of some hail that might be up to 1.5 inches in diameter as that moves to the east. So if you're out here, if you could safely do so, if you're in the path of this hail, you might want to get your car into a garage or under a carport if you have something like that, if that's an option to you, if you could do so safely, because we've seen a lot of large hail, and this thing is still trying to produce some large hail here as it comes across Mason County, Kentucky. We are still looking at the tornado warning, which is in effect there for the western half of Mason County. This officially goes another 10 minutes for this tornado warning. So again, we still have a broad circulation. It is a Doppler radar indicated tornado, but at this juncture, it looks like we are starting to lose that circulation a little bit. Let's hope that we continue to see that circulation go down. Primarily a wind and hail threat right now with the possibility of a tornado in these locations. And I'm checking a few sources right now to see if we have any other information coming in. We just got a report out of Mason County, Kentucky, of marble-sized hail just south of Washington, Kentucky, and that's coming from the Mason County, Kentucky emergency manager. So marble-sized hail is being reported from this storm as it continues to slide across Mason County. So likely in this purple shading you see here, moving towards Somo there, toward Orangeburg. We've had confirmed reports of marble-sized hail near Washington there. So whether that was on the edge of this hail core or right underneath it, I'm not quite sure. But you can see Washington up there to the north. Washington looked like it was kind of on the edge of this hail core. The hail core is starting to get out of the tornado warning polygon at this point. So that's some good news. And as we continue to check the velocities here, we are still seeing some strong winds there. Helena, just to the north of Helena, just to the east of Mayslick there, we're querying some winds of around 62 miles per hour. So in addition to the possibility of a tornado, strong straight line winds remain a possibility, along with some hail coming out of this storm. So we will continue to watch this storm as it moves across Mason County. Again, the good news here is that even though we still have a tornado warning in effect for the western half of Mason County, where that broad circulation is getting ready to pass out of the county. Downstream from this storm, to the east, they have issued a severe thunderstorm warning, indicating that the chances for a tornado, while still there, are starting to decrease a little bit. So that is the good news, if there is any at this juncture. But the threat for some hail continues to move through the far eastern section of Mason County. Again, this hail core is missing Maysville to the south. Thankfully for the folks in Maysville, this is passing to your south, but some large hail continues to be possible in the southeastern corner of Mason County, Kentucky. The tornado warning continues for another few minutes. But at this juncture, it looks like that tornado threat has really decreased. And you can see as we kind of reset here across the rest of the area, that's it. This line of storms have come through with little fanfare for most of us. It was the southern edge of this line where we saw that supercell thunderstorm develop and create the damage back to the west and southwest of Cincinnati this afternoon. So I'm going to continue to keep an eye on this line of storms as it pushes to the south and east. Meteorologist Caroline Cohen and meteorologist Eric DeBrook are here with me. We are talking about the possibility, though, for some more storms to impact the tri-state later tonight. So we're not completely done with the storm threat just yet. Some of our initial data shows that the worst of those storms may hopefully stay to the north of Cincinnati, but we're going to continue to look through that data as we move through the evening here. But for the meantime, I will keep an eye on that storm as it continues to move through Mason County. Officially a tornado warning here for another few minutes for you folks. But again, the signs are encouraging. You've got a large hail threat. You've got the threat for 60-mile-an-hour winds. We will continue to scroll any additional information across the top of the screen. And we have 3 meteorologists here that will also continue to keep an eye on things. For now, though, I think we're going to begin Local 12 News first at 4.